I want to take a moment this week to go over two papers that were very well done for the final submission for paper 2. Both these students have given me permission to look at their papers and comment on them so you guys can learn some more as a class. So this is one paper from each section that I'm teaching this semester. Let's go over Cassandra's first. The research topic and thesis I am interested in writing about is how movement influences elementary students' ability to learn. So this first sentence is pretty good. I would say that it's a little weak in the sense that the research topic and thesis I'm interested in writing about, I would go ahead and just start a paper with your thesis. Just say your opinion, write a thesis statement is an opinion. Say your opinion right away. It's really like, boom, here you are, reader. Get used to it. I like that style. I think it's concise and complete. So that introductory could have been a little stronger. In addition, even before you introduce your thesis, it is a good idea to start with a hook. So Cassandra is writing about movement in elementary students. And as we know, some of the research shows some pretty amazing things about cognitive learning when you start to introduce movement such as bouncing on a ball or wiggling around. Students wiggle, right? Especially young students. Quite a bit, and it actually enhances learning. So she could have started out with a really cool fact about this. A little bit of a missed opportunity right away. There has been a plethora of research completed surrounding the positive effects of movement on the brain in recent years. Again, instead of saying that, the hook would have been like a fact about that plethora. This research has been conducted by professionals from many different backgrounds, including doctors and teachers. Providing movement in the classroom has recently become a norm compared to 15 or 20 years ago and raises questions for many new parents who step into modern classrooms with their children for the first time. I love this background information. What's going on good here, which I'm going to be asking for in paper 4 as well, is she's saying that there has been a plethora of research completed surrounding the positive effects of movement on the brain in recent years. If she would have put in the years there, she would have said this research started in the early 2000s or something. That would have been perfect. It gives us some concrete decades to kind of compare to. So this was really cool how she kind of summarized what research or what's been going on in the research field. That's what I'm looking for in your paper 4s. I'm looking for some summary of what's been going on in the research field. This next sentence also does the same thing. This research has been conducted by many professionals in many different backgrounds, including doctors and teachers. So it's kind of telling us that this research is across the spectrums, across disciplines. That's called cross-disciplinary, actually. So she could have used that term even to make it a little bit more powerful and academic, because that is the term we use when things are done across disciplines. Now, the other thing I'm going to say about this research, the background of the research that's been happening, is it should have been cited. So she could have even provided one example or two examples of proving both of these points true and quickly citing them. That would have been really important. Anytime you give background information, remember they're facts. So who, what, when, where, why. These are facts as well. Facts concerning the trends revolving around research in the study of movement and learning probably should have been cited and a little bit more concrete with examples. Okay, so moving on. So what do we have so far? We have background, and we have kind of a weaker introduction of what she plans for her topic. Providing movement in the classroom has recently become a norm compared to, I read this. I love this little phrase that she puts in here because it does set the stage for hammering it home for us as individuals. If you're not a parent, you know young children, and if you are a parent, you deeply care about learning and trends in learning. And so it's very interesting that she connects the reader to the topic in such a concrete way. I really like that sentence. I don't often advocate for them because sometimes students make them seem like opinions. They are opinions, and then this is not. She's just raising that question that parents could have, but done in another matter, it could seem like another pseudo thesis, right? So it's a very fine line between creating another confusing opinion statement that seems like your thesis and or just connecting to the reader. It's a very fine line. Did a good job here. My topic warrants approval because the research will focus on, so this is great. My topic warrants approval. That's the paper thesis. We know that right there. Awesome, clear paper thesis. Because the research will focus on findings in the past years That's great. So she's saying her research is going to focus on the past and an abundant evidence supporting this topic. So there's a lot of research done on this specific topic, as well as my own previous experience. So it seems like she has 3 going on here. So I'm seeing 3 claims. I'm seeing a clear paper thesis. I'm seeing this kind of a connecting thing to parents. Maybe this is the thesis. I don't think it is. I think it's a connecting sentence. And then I'm seeing this, which I think is meant to be the thesis, but it's stated very weakly. I would just state it as a statement, not I'm interested in, but boom, movement affects elementary school students' learning in a positive way or something like that. Okay, so let's see if her claim outline map in the introduction is reflected in the actual paper. The focus of my research will be on how movement has influenced student learning in studies and observations conducted in the past. Okay, perfect. Without discussing potential assumptions movement could provide to future students. Okay, so she's not discussing the potential. That's what experts do. She's discussing the past. So I see she listed it first here. Great. She opens with it. Great. Now, if I go to the end of her first CSE section, it's just a paragraph here. I should see a reiteration of the point without changing the meaning. At this point in my research, it seems the article, studies, statistics, and literature available pertaining to the topic of movement and elementary learning will provide years of support based in the past instead of assumptions. Perfect CSE form. That's what I mean by CSE form. There are little capsule sections that end where they began. Previous work experience with elementary school has also provided some interesting first-hand points of view. So she's talking about her previous experience. If I go to the top here, abundance of research. So she rolled, I thought this was 3 separate statements, but she rolled them into 2 for this first one. So if I read through it, let's look and see if she actually proved with fact that there is an abundance of research. So right away, I see that that's a pretty short little space to prove abundance, but she did a really good job. Recently, this has been a topic discussed in schools and amongst educators because of the pressures on teachers for higher student success and scores. That could have almost been in the introduction as background and then cited as well. In an article, Movement and Learning, What's the Connection, written by Deborah Stevens Smith, she mentions the link between physical activity and learning, which has been known to many professionals for years. Okay, 2015, she's citing an APA. Really awesome summary and introduction of this article. I would have liked to see some commentary about Deborah Stevens Smith. Who is she? Why should we believe her? But really awesome, quick summary and introduction of the piece. Also, researchers have been able to provide the connections between movement and cognitive aspects of the brain since many mysteries of the brain were uncovered in the 90s. Awesome. In the same article written by Deborah Stevens Smith, many scholarly experts are cited with their research supporting the connections of exercise and movement with learning and retaining knowledge. So my only point would be here showing one research study. It really doesn't prove an abundance of research, but this is still really well done. This one sentence with some introduction of who Deborah Stevens Smith was in the next one, and then do that like 4 or 5 times would have been out of this world perfect, but this is still really good. Great paper. The next section, previous experience working with elementary students, will also provide an interesting first-hand point of view on the observable benefits of incorporating movement in the classroom. Okay, so if I go to the end, I should see that same point mimicked. This insight will help drive my research because of my personal connection. Perfect. Okay, so now let's look at the body. Does she prove that she has a personal connection with concrete evidence? During 2012 through 2014, I was blessed with the position of working as a special education paraprofessional. A benefit of the paraprofessional position was training I received. Yes, she's doing a great job. This is concrete evidence. She's telling me time frame. She's telling me exactly what happened to her and her training. This is perfect. Really great CSE. The second CSE is better than the first one for the reasons I previously stated.